We have a guest today, 4-time Olympic gold medalist, 8-time World Championship gold medalist right now. 2025, he is the commissioner of a brand new competition, Grand Slam Track, which you can find right here on CBC this spring. Michael Johnson, welcome to CBC. How we doing?
Doing great, man. Excited. This thing is about to kick off finally. So very excited. Good to be with you.
Right, so you have been planning this thing for a couple of years, and now we're sort of in the last sprint leading up to the first event, Kingston, Jamaica, April 1st, 4th, 5th, and 6th. What is the predominant emotional feeling on your mind right now?
Yeah, excitement. I'm excited. Our athletes, racers are excited. Fans are excited, which is exactly what we want. We want this excitement around this sport. Track, now has an exclusive home for the fastest people on the planet that, this is where they compete at Grand Slam Track, and we're about to kick it off. And we've got a unique format where the athletes, instead of just running one race and you just win that one race, you got to perform well across both races in your group, and your combined score determines the winner, which adds a little bit more drama and stakes. And so the fans are sort of debating who they think's going to win, why they're going to win each race group, and that's the sort of thing we want.
For an event like this, you said the fastest people on the planet, but a sharp-eyed observer will say, wait a minute, I don't see Julian Alfred here, I don't see Noah Lyles here, I don't see Kashane Thompson. So what case do you make to sort of the mainstream fan who's been weaned on a couple of seasons of sprint, who's going to see some names they recognize, but not all of them? What case do you make to them that this is the place to be?
Yeah, so we've got 96 athletes, and you just named 3 that are out there. So I think that most people are going to focus on who's here and focus on that these are the best in the world, and they've decided to come and race here in the platform that gives fans everything that they've been asking for. We want to see the best of the best compete against one another. We want to see it, on television. We want to see it consistent. We want to be able to find it. We want dynamic television presentation. We want the storytelling around it. I would say, 48 racers who won over half the medals, in Paris in the relevant events might have a problem if you say, but these people aren't there. They'd be like, well, what about us? Are we not good enough? And I think they are. And I think the fact that we're televised in over 189 countries, decided, hey, this is worth televising, this is worth putting on our broadcast, but say that this is what we need, and we want a collection of the best athletes in the world, as opposed to what we've seen in this sport over quite some time now. That has been one of the flaws of this sport, where we over-index on a few people at the top of the sport and say that, well, if we don't have them, then, it's not worth watching.
For our younger viewers, go back and search Michael Johnson on YouTube. He was an absolute beast. 1996 Olympics, this man took 0.3 of a second. I think it was 34 hundredths of a second off of his own 200-meter world record. At the world level, for the new people, that doesn't happen. Like, not even Usain Bolt took 0.3 of a second off the world record. So my question to you is, if you were at the level you were at back then, best in the world, 200, 400, how would you react to an event like Grand Slam Track coming along? Would peak Michael Johnson sign up for Grand Slam Track if someone else had pitched it to him?
Absolutely. Because what I wanted then, and what the athletes want now, is they want to be able to show the world on a consistent basis that I am the best, or I am one of the best. When I was competing back in the 90s, that people saw me at the Olympics in 1996, but then after that, they didn't see me, until another Olympics came along 40 years later. The problem with our sport is we don't have enough of those events that pits best against best, and it's in a position to show it to the world. And that's what the athletes have been wanting. It's what I wanted when I was competing, and now we have it. So I'm really proud of what we've been able to do here.
And another question for peak Michael Johnson. So let's say peak Michael Johnson has an opportunity to compete in a Grand Slam, April, May, and June, but there's also a World Championships in September, towards the end of September. How would you periodize your training so that you could peak for all these events?
You have to run races to be ready for the season. And so these athletes are already running several races a year. But the problem is some of those races, and what their frustration has been is, okay, well, so I'm traveling over, to the other side of the world, to run in a race, and the first place prize money is $10,000. And by the time I finish traveling there and paying for travel and all of that, I may actually be out of money. And I don't want to do that, but I have to because I need races. So now the athlete knows that, okay, Grand Slam track is going to actually make sure that I get there. So I'm not going to be out of money. They're already paying me a base salary, which I deserve because I'm great. And now I also am competing for $100,000 for first place. And if I happen to finish 8th place, it's $10,000. So now where we sit with Grand Slam track is we can deliver the athletes and the competition that they want to be doing to the fans for what they want to be seeing.
So you have 48 racers under contract, but you also have 48 challengers, and you were mentioning offline that the challengers can perform their way in, and sort of the roster of challengers will probably change from event to event. So explain to our viewers a little bit more how you qualify as a challenger for these events.
Run fast. I mean, everything about this league is run fast. So our 48 races will be at every slam, and they'll be competing against one another. We invite 48 challengers to come in each slam, per slam. So they may be there. So the 48 challengers that are signed up already for Kingston, those athletes will be in Kingston competing. Some of them may make their way to Miami, depending on how they perform in Kingston. Some of them won't. There are already some challengers who've already signed up and said, hey, I want to compete in Miami, that we've decided on. But we make that decision with our race committee based on who's running fastest at the moment. And the challenger situation also just allows us flexibility so that if someone starts running fast in another meet somewhere else in the middle of our season, we can bring them in as a challenge.
Flexibility. Now, does that also involve possibly, hypothetically, extending invites to the Tyreek Hills and the iShow Speeds of the world?
Track athletes are the fastest people on the planet. We're not going to be pitting content creators and people like that in the race with our professional track athletes, no more than the NBA isn't going to be letting people who just think that they're good at basketball and play it recreationally to come in and play, games in the NBA. But lots of people out there think that they're fast, and we have a place for them. So the iShow Speeds, Tyreek Hills, and folks like that who think that they got something to prove, we have a place for them because we have exhibition races, our special races inside of our Grand Slam track events.
Last question, real quick. Marco Adams, he's the one Canadian that we can point to as a racer in this series. Why aren't there more Canadians, and is there a chance for more Canadians to get involved?
Look, we're a global league. We have athletes and racers that represent over 17 different countries. And these are all of the fastest people. Marco has certainly proven himself as one of the best racers in the world. And I think people are sleeping on his 1500 as well, because I think he's going to really surprise some people. Everybody knows him in the 8, but he can run a great 15. So we're super excited to see him and have him. And absolutely, we want more Canadians. We want more athletes from all over the globe, to be part of Grand Slam track. And I think you're going to see that you now have athletes have something to aspire to, that, yeah, I want to be there. And the way you get there, run fast and prove yourself as one of the fastest racers in the world.
All right, folks, that's Michael Johnson, world champion, Olympic champion at the 200 and the 400, which is to say he would do just fine in the Grand Slam track 2-event format. Michael Johnson, thanks a lot for taking the time to be with us today.
Thanks, appreciate it. Thanks for having me.